this video I will showcase the best Fire Monk incantations build. Let's begin. For this build we will put most of our points into Vigor and Fate, and a few will go into Might and Endurance. For that reason we will settle for the Prophet class. And here are our stats at level 100. 50 Vigor will give us a great amount of HP, we are a melee warrior who will need to tank hits because we are very aggressive. 15 Mind is enough to summon the Spirit Ash, and we have spells that consume little FP. 16 Endurance is the minimum we need to mid-roll, we have other ways to increase our stamina that I will present later in the video. 11 Strength and 10 Dexterity is enough to wield the weapons and the Sacred Seal. 7 Intelligence and 10 Arcane because we do not need these stats. And 60 Fate will give our weapons and spells good damage. Of course, we will use General's Radan Great Rune for this build. It will increase our maximum HP, FP and stamina by 15%, which is exactly what we need for this build. You could also pick Morgoth's Great Rune for even more HP. We are running a dual Flameheart Longsword setup, with the Godslayer Sacred Seal as a backup. Both swords have B scaling in Fate, while the seal has S scaling and an incantation scaling of 310 when buffed. We also have two of the best weapon skills on our swords. In the right hand sword we have Flame of the Redmanes, which is a well known skill for its stagger potential, while on the left hand sword we have Flaming Strike. It is similar to the Flame of the Redmanes skill, but what's actually amazing about it is that we can do a heavy attack immediately after, which coats the weapon in fire, which is normally impossible on a weapon with Flameheart affinity. The buff lasts around 20 seconds, so the maximum AR we can get if we drink the flask and use Flame Grant Me Strength then Flaming Strike is 871 on the right hand sword and 976 on the left one, and you can further buff it with Golden Vow. When it comes to armor we use the full Redmane Knight set, which I believe looks stunning. But if you want to go to a higher level and add a few more points into endurance, you could also use General Radan's helm, and maybe even the boots and arms. We have 3 must-have talismans. Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman, which reduces physical damage taken by 20%, Shard of Alexander, which boosts the power of the weapon skills by 15%, and Fire Scorpion Charm, which boosts the fire damage of our weapon and spells by 12%. But makes us take 10% more damage. The 4th talisman depends on your playstyle or the enemies we face. If you only want to go full melee and don't care about spells, Earth's Tree Favor plus 2 will boost your HP, stamina and equip load. Or if you go to higher levels and use the other armor pieces, you can equip Bullgoat's Talisman for extra poise, which will allow you to tank a light attack without getting staggered. Against opponents with low fire resistance, such as Exekias or Radagon, you can use Flock Canvas to boost the damage of the spells by 8%. Against fire resistant enemies, such as the Godskins or the Elden Beast, you can use Old Lord Talisman, so Flame Grant Me Strength lasts 39 seconds instead of 30, so you will not be using the spells and focus on melee combat instead. For this build I found no use for Flame Cleanse Me, which removes rot and poison effect, and for the Fire's Deadly Sin, which gives us Immolation. Flame Sling requires to be charged, and also to have Flock's Canvas active in order to deal 100 more damage than the Giant's Flame Fire pot, which can be thrown faster, so I used the pots instead. Flame Grant Me Strength is the most important spell in our arsenal, for the 20% bonus it provides to physical and fire damage, and a small stamina recovery effect. Flame Protect Me is a situational spell, but extremely useful against dragons who deal fire damage, the second phase of the Fire Giant, and the Godskin duo. Whirl O Flame and Surge O Flame are decent AoE spells, but we have Flame of the Redmanes and Flaming Strike skills for AoE needs, so slotting these spells is unnecessary. Catch Flame and O Flame are the same thing. Catch Flame being faster to cast, but O Flame being chargeable. If you want to use O Flame, the Giant Seal will boost its damage by 20%. You might also want to use an oil pot with this, because it makes the next fire attack or spell deal 50% more damage. If you choose this, make sure you also grab Godfrey Icon Talisman for 15% damage bonus to charge spells. Redmane Knight Oga is the Spirit Ash for this build. He will provide good support from range while we tank, and if the opponents decide to go after him, he will swap to a melee setup and continue fighting. He is a unique summon because he has a special interaction. Using a roar skill while next to him, he gets an AR buff and he can use a gravitational rain of arrows once every summoning. This is especially effective against dragons if they stay in one place. For the Flask of Wondrous Physique, I picked the Fate Knot tier for the 10 bonus points and the Flame Shrouding tier for the 20% bonus to fire damage. Both tiers last 3 minutes. Other consumables are Pickled Turtleneck, which raises the stamina recovery by around 5%. It also stacks with the bonus from Flame Grant Me Strength. Giant's Flame Fire Pot, which has Beast Scaling in Fate, can be used to deal with far away enemies. The Oil Pot if you want, and the Boiled Crab only against enemies with high physical damage, such as Radagon and Godfrey. When it comes to difficulty, every boss fell at the first attempt except the Godskin duo, Malekith and Godfrey, because I either entered the fight with the wrong setup or didn't heal when I should have. But all of them fell at the second attempt easily, so difficulty with this build is easy. When it comes to damage, we have very high DPS in melee combat and with the spells as well, and our AR with the swords is pretty high. Overall, we deal very high damage. When it comes to versatility, we are proficient in melee combat and deal pretty good spell damage very fast, and the fact that we have 2 awesome weapon skills that we can mix up with makes this build fun to play with. Now let's see how you can improve the build. Adding 20 more points into Fate will let you have bigger damage at all times, and also eliminate the need for the Fate Knot tier, so you can replace it with the Lead and Hard tier for extra poise, or Stone Barb Cracked tier to break enemy poise easier, or any tier you want. You can also add 10 more points into Endurance, so you can use Radahn's armor pieces and have more stamina, 10 into Might for more FP, and 10 into Vigor for even more HP. And you can add Golden Vow to your spells so you can tackle New Game Plus with ease. If you liked this build, check out my other builds and subscribe to get notified when I post more awesome builds in the future. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.